Hi, good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, and we're getting closer to Good Friday, part of Holy Week. Just wanted to say, here I am outside. The weather's getting nicer, spring is here. Excited that we can share the good air outside. Today I wanted to read from you two passages. One is from Psalm 139, a very familiar passage and this is usually what we call the prayer of examine. It's kind of examining your own heart in your relationships with your friends, your parents, if you're married, husband and wife, and if you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, you just want to always look at the relationships that you have and to see, have I done anything wrong to them? What was so good? What was good about our relationship that happened yesterday? And what can I give thanks to God about? So Psalm 139, verse 23 through 24, it says, "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. Point out anything in me that offends you, and lead me along the path of everlasting life." We want God to search our hearts and reveal to us any kind of thoughts that we have, anything that might have been offensive. So, for example, you can look back at what happened yesterday, and if you do this every day on a daily basis, it's kind of like a cleansing way to really examine yourself and to examine the relationships that you have with other people. So yesterday, I went to Fort Lee, and I wanted to really, and then this morning I said, God, did I do the right thing yesterday? Was that a good thing to do? I know I'm not supposed to go outside, but was it okay that I did that? And then I remembered all the faces that I did get to see, and I hope that it was a blessing to them, because it was a blessing to me to see their faces. So I did confess, and I asked the Lord, I'm going to do it again today. So how is that going? And also, I had a conversation with my husband yesterday on the phone, and I have to think back and say, did I say anything that was offensive, or did I do anything, Lord, that betrays our relationship? Anyway, betrayal. We don't think that we really betray people, and hopefully you don't have many friends in your life that have betrayed you. But if you look at during this Holy Week, we have a very famous person that betrayed Jesus, right? We all know Judas as the betrayer, the one that sold Jesus for money, and that happens in John chapter 13. So I'm also going to read from John chapter 13. Verse 21, it says, "Now Jesus was deeply troubled, and he exclaimed, 'I tell you the truth, one of you will betray me.' The disciples looked at each other, wondering whom he could mean. The disciple Jesus loved was sitting next to Jesus at the table. Simon Peter motioned to him to ask, 'Who is he talking about?' So that disciple leaned over to Jesus and asked, 'Lord, who is it?' Jesus responded, 'It is the one to whom I give the bread I dip in the bowl.' And when he had dipped it, he gave it to Judas, the son of Simon Iscariot. When Judas had eaten the bread, Satan entered into him. Then Jesus told him, 'Hurry and do what you're going to do.' None of the others at the table knew what Jesus meant. Since Judas was their treasurer, some thought Jesus was telling him to go and pay for the food or to give some money to the poor. So Judas left at once, going out into the night." Judas and Jesus, if you think about it, it wasn't like Judas was like a terrible person the whole time. He was Jesus' friend. He traveled with him for 3 years. He saw miracles. He was part of the whole disciple clan. He was his group. He was part of the group, and he was the treasurer. So that means he kept all the money the whole time, and he was really in there. I am very sure that Jesus and Judas had a very good and deep relationship. But when I see that, I realize that any of us, at any time, we could betray Jesus. I know we're all capable of just horrible and evil things, because Satan is always tempting us. However, we always think, surely I would not betray Jesus. Surely if Jesus was my friend and in my midst, physically, I would never betray him. But I'm sure Judas felt the same way. But because of the pressures of whatever he had, or whatever was in his heart, was obviously broken. But yet Jesus is still still saying to he never said, Judas, you're the one, you need to go to hell. He said it very gently and very in almost a loving way, that one of you will betray me. And then later Jesus, because we're looking to the cross and we're looking to Jesus not only dying on the cross but resurrecting and then allowing us that forgiveness, here's a forgiveness that Jesus is offering to all of us. When we examine our hearts every morning, and we do pray that prayer of examine, ask yourself, did I betray Jesus yesterday? We think about our relationships with our friends and what I did to so and so, but do we do that with our Lord? Do we say, Lord, did I betray you yesterday? Did I really shine your light yesterday? Was there anything offensive in me, Lord, that I have done against you or against your name? I think as we are, in the middle of Holy Week, I think that's something that we really need to examine for ourselves. We need to say, Lord, I may have betrayed you many times, or maybe I betray you every day, but know that this Holy Week ends with beautiful forgiveness for all of that betrayal, and that Jesus extends that forgiveness to us, and he says it's forgiven, it's forgotten. So it's a holy, heavy week, but at the same time it's a joyful week because we have so much to be thankful for and so much to look forward to. So God bless you, and Tenafly, I'm coming at you today. Love you guys. Bye.